Hey, aloha, y'all, and welcome to the Own the Outcome podcast. My name is Tyler Deveraux, and today, damn it, man, today we have, one of my favorite people, and he's actually been on the Multifamily Mindset podcast. My hell, it was probably a year ago, almost exactly a year ago that we did that first interview. And anybody who went to Peak last year definitely knows who this person is. But I mean, if you don't follow this individual, you're one of the only few on the planet, man. He has a big following because he's an amazing person. And it's Mr. Charlie Rocket. What is up, bro?
Thank you for having me on, brother.
Oh, man, that was a pleasure. I'm grateful that you would take the time to be here. And I want to talk about your journey. You know, we were just talking off camera, and he said, tell me about the new podcast. And I said, bro, you're the epitome of it. Owning the outcome. Y'all are going to, and once again, many of you probably already know who Charlie is, but you are going to learn so much, man, from this dude who has conquered so much in his life. He's the epitome of own the outcome. So, Charlie, I want to start there, man. Highlight reel for me real quick, the highlights, and then we're going to go through the challenges that led to those highlights. Give me some of the biggest highlights of your life.
Highlight super real. Here we go. I was born in Atlanta. I wanted to be in the music business, and I went and chased that dream, and I got to be a Grammy-winning music manager. That was pretty cool. I managed two teams, Travis Porter, and I did this at a young age. I started when I was 18, and I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, which was to me a highlight. I don't look at that as anything bad. It was scary, but it was a blessing. And then I helped Nike create the biggest Nike ad of all time, based upon my life journey, and I got to be in it. So I got to be an athlete. I've lost 100 pounds twice. I've also gained at least 70 pounds 3 times. So that's always a highlight and a downfall as well. Still struggle with stuff, but also a philanthropist. I created a kind of an innovative foundation where we brought it into the social media era. We got 10 million followers, and we have a huge army of love. And I now I'm part owner of a coconut water company that we're making the most impact-driven beverage brand on planet Earth, and we are growing faster than vitamin water did. We're growing faster than the biggest coconut waters have. We are one of the fastest growing beverage brands in the history of beverage, and it's because we change lives. And that is a model that I want every business to really, really ingrain. So those are some of the highlights.
those are some of the highlights, bro. I lead with that because it's almost unbelievable what you've done in your short time here on life. Like, it's pretty incredible highlight reel. And so I lead with that because it's incredible, bro. But I say that you're the epitome of owning the outcome because you are, man. Those highlights don't happen without struggle. Would you agree with that?
Too much struggle, Tyler. It's been a lot. Yeah, it's absolutely. If if you're watching a good movie, it's not good. If it's like it's a love story, they gotta break up, which is like or if it's a success story, you gotta go bankrupt or fall apart or lose the house or all those type of downfalls are what makes great stories. And who doesn't want a good movie?
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to make a movie of our lives, might as well be a good one. So let's go ahead and give gratitude to the bad parts, because those are actually the best parts. So just thank it.
And that's what's beautiful about you, bro, is you don't just say that like you truly believe it. Like, think about how you just introed. You're like, man, I said, go through the highlights. You're like, I had a brain tumor. And I know that some people might not look at that as a highlight, but for me, that was a highlight. And it's because you really believe that. So the follow-up question for me would be, do you believe those highlights happen because of the challenges.
Yeah, I think, and not to be like too woo woo, but I definitely think like my like soul picked, this path that I was going on, before it happened. Um, I think the brain tumor was amazing because if I didn't have it, I would have just been making money in the music industry, which is cool, but I would have never went on a path of chasing my dream or helping other people. We've made 1,500 dreams come true for others, kids mainly, with disabilities and cancer. And if there's something bad that is in my life, it literally opens my eyes up, not immediately. Like I go through my like temper tantrum. There's no doubt about that. There's not like a period of not being frustrated. But then I get over, I try to get over it pretty quickly by disarming it and giving it gratitude and being like, okay, like I'm being redirected. This could be a good thing. Or maybe I'm not supposed to be in the music industry. Maybe there's something bigger for me. Or just all those things. They're all blessings. Everything bad has been a gift. So I really would prescribe to anybody to just disarm it.
Yeah, so I think that's such a powerful thing. I want to hone in on it a little bit of what your process looks like with that. Like, because you said two different things, right? It was one, it was like, okay, how is this a blessing? How can I use this? And the other one was like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to be in the music industry, right? So it's like, what's your process to disarm it? Because I think it's your superpower, in my opinion, and I would love to know, like, literally curious from my standpoint. And I know that everyone will benefit from this. It's like, what do you go through in that moment?
I just go through an example, so I'm not talking like theoretical. So remember at your big speaking engagement, right?
Mm-hmm.
At your big event. I was just like honest with the crowd. I never like look at myself as an expert. I'm just like another person. I just happen to be on the stage. But I was like, guys, we're like 10 days away from our foundation, like running out of money, and I'm gonna have to like let go of all the employees, right? And I'm just honest. I look at it as a very frustrating situation. And we were able to sustain for a little while. And then it got to a point where I just told the employees, I was like, if y'all don't figure this out, I'm going to just have to let y'all go. Like, I need this to be y'all's make or break. Um, and they weren't able to figure it out. And it was like very heartbreaking that I had to let go of 80% of my staff. And I looked at it as a blessing. I mean, it sucks, but I was like, each one of these people has dreams, and maybe they can do something way bigger than working for a foundation, not making near enough money. I was like, maybe they deserve more. Like maybe they will go be like how I was and like all their dreams come true. And then when I think about it selfishly for me, I'm like, well, I'm just going to put this on my back and maybe a whole bunch of new amazing people come into my life. And sometimes when like somebody exits your life, it opens up the portal for like somebody amazing to come in. It's like almost instantaneous. And that's exactly what happened. And, our foundation is thriving better than ever. And the people that left the foundation, they're doing great. They started their own businesses. So what happened that was actually bad? Nothing, a bad situation is not a bad situation unless you label it bad.
Ooh, say that again. That's huge.
It's a situation. A bad situation is not a bad situation unless you just label it bad. What if it's a situation and you get to decide the path? And so I decided that maybe, I just add the word maybe, this is great. And the second you do that, it's like a curtain unveils like these possibilities because a bad situation is like this like repeat like thing that just keeps taking up your mind and it's the same scene over and over and over and over and over and that's all you can see. When it's bad, it's all you can see. If it's a boss that's bothering you, a spouse that's bothering you, anybody that's bothering you, bad situation, it's all that replays and you can't see anything. But if you say maybe this is good, that video stops playing and you're third eye can like actually see possibilities in the future. And then if you
Mm.
see, oh, maybe this is a good thing. Oh, maybe this is going to happen, or maybe this is going to happen, and your imagination turns on. And yeah, that's what I do.
So powerful, man. I love how you relate it to a movie because I I love stories. I love telling stories, and I love movies because movies are a big story, man. And I believe that so I have this framework that I try to live by. And this framework is it's everything is a frame. Everything is how we frame it, right? And there really is only two frames at a basic level. Is the situation, the event, the circumstance that happens, and then we have two choices. We can either frame it in a way that is detrimental, that leads to unhappiness and depression and all this shit, or we can just choose to ask better questions and frame it in a way that leads to growth and happiness. And in the moment, I love that you admitted this because it is hard, like in the exact moment, to really get there. But what makes you different, and you're an inspiration, man, and you're like personally, you're an inspiration because I will tell you personally, when I am going through something, I look at what have other people went through that is far bigger than this. And bro, you have multiple of them in your life that I reflect back on. And I need you to know that, like I really do. And I look at that and it's like, man, and it puts it into perspective. And so one thing that I'm grateful for you as is that number one, you share it. You just share it openly, bro. It's like that seems so simple, but very few people do it. People want to hide behind this facade that life's just fucking great all the time. No, dude, there are challenges, and that's where the beauty lies. And you're one of the unique few that actually talk about the challenges, which then allow people like me to see a challenge that you've went through and understand that whatever I'm going through, well, I can get through this one too. If Charlie did it, I can do it. If so and so did it, I can do it. Right? It's like it really is this powerful thing, and so it's choosing a different frame, a different perspective. And that is what has led to so much growth and prosperity in your life. By the way, congrats on the coconut water thing, dude. I did not know that. Once Upon a Coconut, I've loved that name since I first heard it. What a great name. Yeah, that's huge, brother. I did not know the growth rates that you just talked about. That's amazing.
Just, when you get into something, I've never run a coconut water business, right? And I kind of lived in a world in my mind of delusional optimism, right?
Yeah.
So when I go into anything, I always say this is going to be easy. Where I think it's more human nature to go into something and mentally you prepare yourself and say this is going to be hard. I'm going to need to work really hard to do it. And I've kind of go about it the opposite way. I have tricked myself or brainwashed myself into working really hard by believing that it's easy. So I actually show up because I learned one thing from high school. If you just go to class, you're probably going to pass. If you go, the people who don't pass are the people who like stop going to class, right? So what class do people want to go to? The easy class or the hard class? The
No,
easy.
the easy one.
You
Yeah.
always want to go to the easy. So if I go into anything, I just tell myself, this is going to be easy. I'm not going to get into the trap of being a human and try to find all the things that can go wrong because if you look for them, you will find them. And
Hmm.
if you find them, you will get paralyzed. And if you
Mm.
get paralyzed, you might not ever just start. So what I
Mm.
try to do is like erase all of that, put that to the side, and just say this is going to be easy. And I go into the possibilities. Oh, we're going to do this, and it's going to be fun. And boom, 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 all this high frequency stuff, not this grind work. I do all that, trust me. But that's not where I'm living in my head. That grind
Mm.
mentality is a tool I pull out of the toolbox when I need it. For example, right now I'm getting off coffee. So
Okay.
coffee helps motivate me. So I don't have that. So I'm putting like Eric Thomas in my ears and like grind.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But it's a
Oh
tool.
yeah.
but I truly want everything in my life to be easy. And since being a part of this company and just putting it on my back, I mean, we just got Sprouts, nobody knows, but we got Sprouts, haven't announced yet, but April 1st, we're also going to do 1 million acts of kindness in one day on April 6th. We're going to do it with Sprouts, with our all of our customers, and with our Army of Love. If you and your entire family wants to get involved, that'd be awesome. But we're going to do a
Yeah,
million acts of kindness all over the United States and the world in one day. Um, but yeah, so
I
going
love that, bro.
to the water company, I just believe it's going to be easy.
So I have a question because when you, I wasn't planning on going this route, but because I believe there's so much power in what you just said. Like, man, I'm like the delusional optimism. I love it. I believe there's so much power there. Have you ever been burnt because of delusional optimism, or have you been burnt? And okay, so when that happens, and I know it's like when that happens, have you ever has it ever been like, man, maybe I shouldn't be like that, or what's your okay? So what's your perspective in that moment?
I want to live a life of bliss. Um, I have never lost faith in humanity because of my delusion.
Mm,
Humans will disappoint you. Let me tell you, they,
yes,
they
fact.
will steal
Yeah.
from you. They will stab you in the back, or they will disappoint you, or they'll just simply let you down. But if you get scarred by all of that, you might stop trying. I was watching a silly movie the other day.
Mm,
It's called Horrible Bosses 2.
yeah.
And these guys, they wanted to go be entrepreneurs, but they were like debating with themselves, oh, no, we're not meant for that. We should just be cogs in the wheel. Let's go back to our jobs. We should just be cogs in the wheel. And that's a real thought for a lot of people
Hmm.
because if you do go into business, you probably will get hurt. You
Hmm.
probably will get stolen from or taken advantage of and all those type of things. But and all that stuff has happened to me. But every single time I go into business with somebody or meet somebody or start something with somebody, I'm going to give them I'm going to give them the chance. And I'm probably going to get burned. But you know what? I'm choosing to be happy and I'm choosing to try. And there's only one time in my life I have to be right. And the person who shoots more shots and wakes up and tries every day is probably going to make more baskets than the person who maybe shot 2 shots and then got off the court. So
Yes.
my delusional optimism is I'm just always going to think people are going to do me right. And if they don't, it hurts. But then I go right back and I'm like, well, maybe this is a blessing. Maybe they're not supposed to be in my life. Like, you know what? I'm glad this happened now instead of in 10 years. Like, this is great. Like, show me that you're a bad person, like early, please. Or
Yeah.
or if you show me you're a bad person deep into the relationship, it's like, oh, well, this is perfect. Like, it's time for a new chapter. Like, let's go do something else. But I stay
Yeah.
in the delusional optimism, and it's a great way to live life. Because whether you're optimistic or pessimistic, whether you're pronoid or paranoid, we're all going to get done wrong in business. It's just been
100%.
how I choose to spend the other, you know, 1,440 minutes of the day is I want to be happy, even if
Hmm.
somebody's letting me down. I don't want them to tear me down beyond the situation. So I'm just going to always try to be happy. And my delusional optimism is the way I do it.
It's beautiful, Bram, and it is. I love you. I love what you said, man, because that's a fact. The key with behind what you just said, because I literally truly believe in what you said, and I know you do too. That's why I ask you. I lead in and ask you the question, but it was also a huge insight for me that I'll talk about 1 second. But I believe that because you're gonna get burnt regardless. Like it's just like just expect it. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But what your key is, what I think a key is number one, joy. I'm gonna choose to live with joy. Period. Like if you replay all this shit and all these things that people could do, well, it's definitely going to happen even more. So on the flip side, it's like when somebody burns you, I love your perspective. And this was the takeaway for me, the big one, which was somebody burns you in the short term. It's like, cool, it happened early. Somebody, you've been in a relationship for a long time and then it happens sometimes, well, man, that can cut deeper. But I'll tell you, I'm experiencing right now where I don't even know if you know this, but Ryan and I, my partner, we separated. And it was funny because I was having a conversation, I think it was this week. No, it was last week. Sorry, end of last week. And it was, they're like, well, how do you feel, essentially, And sincerely to my core, I just listed off all the amazing things and experiences that we've had. And like, that doesn't, just because this new future is different, it doesn't erase those. I'm grateful for those. And that season of my life, I'm so grateful for them. Like, I'm grateful for it. And now it's time for a new season. And guess what? I'm grateful and excited for that. That doesn't mean that all this other stuff has to be washed away. It just means I'm very excited and grateful for the future. And I'm also grateful for the past. For me, it's gratitude. Like, if you were asking me in one word, what I come down to, it's just gratitude. Gratitude for the past, gratitude for the now, gratitude for the future. It's gratitude. You can find it in anything,
Beautiful. Yeah. It's not easy to do, but that is so beautiful to do.
Yeah. But your purpose is bigger. Like, that's another thing. Do you think that your purpose comes into play? Because you have a big purpose that transcends you. It's so much bigger than you, Does that keep you moving forward as well?
Yeah, it's like this like ultimate umbrella of accountability. Um,
Mm.
when you make your life of service, um, for example, like human nature. Well, if I made a deal with myself and I made a deal with my mom, right? It's like I'm gonna cut my grass and mom, I'm gonna cut your grass. I might get so busy in my business that I might not cut my grass. I'm not letting my mom down because it's an
Yeah.
outside accountability, right? It's like, I'll be fine. Like nobody's really watching. But when you're of service to somebody else, you don't want to let them down. Like,
Mhm.
for example, let's say I had a podcast I was going to record today for myself. I might be like, I'm a little too busy. I'm not going to record it. But Tyler, I can't let him down. I'm going to show up for that.
Mm.
Same thing. So I kind of just always designed my life to be of service. When I was a manager in the music industry, I was of service to my artists. It was my job to make their dreams come true. It was literally, I am of service. When I left the music industry and I started helping people, I'm of service. So it's like, I gotta show up. I gotta try, but I try to build it into everything I do. Um, and it just keeps me going. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
when you see the impact of somebody's life changing, it feels really selfish not to do it. Like,
Mhm.
but now I can't not do this because, like, this is it. Like, this is the last level of the video game. Like, if
Yeah.
life
Yeah. Yeah.
is a game, it's like, this is it. I'll do this till the day I die. So, how can
Mm.
I not do it? Like, if somebody gave me $1 billion right now and said, you take this money and you don't help anybody else in your life, I'll say, keep your $1 billion.
Mhm.
Keep it.
Amen.
So,
I agree. And you really believe that. And I know that, like, you really actually would do that. And so would I, bro, because that is where fulfillment is found. Success is so different than fulfillment. Like, success, you can be successful in a lot of things. You can make money in a lot of things. But fulfillment, well, that comes from growth and giving, man, and helping. And I also believe that this is a hack. Like, I just believe it's a hack. Like, if you, it's funny, I saw this just today. I saw this sermon, and it was talking about being in the fire, and it's like, who are you in the fire? Are you the person that it's your responsibility to carry people out? Are you just laying down in the fire, or are you just running out? It's like, no, I'm carrying people out. Like, it's what it is. And I believe it's a hack for true growth and also true fulfillment, which is to really choose something that's going to build a layer of responsibility. I'm just not wired, nor will I ever even remotely tell myself that I'm wired a different way. I'm not wired to lay down. I'm not wired to let other people. No. I'm the one. I'm wired to a point where, this is the story that I tell myself, which is, no, I'm the one. I'm that person. Like, I have to, because if I don't, then all these people, it's like, really, like, that's the story that I tell myself. And that's why I love your movie thing, man, because it's what we're playing in our head. What story, what narrative are you playing in your head? And I relate to the negative side that you talk about so much, because when you're going through a trial, when you're going through a challenge, how vivid do you display that? It's so easy to vividly display all the shit that could go bad. The true hack now is, how can you train yourself to vividly picture the beauty of what could be great and better? That's something that you learn. And that's a learned skill that you have. I want to talk about the Nike commercial. Like, you vividly seeing yourself as a Nike athlete. Let's talk about that. How did that happen, and what do people think when you start telling them you're going to be a Nike athlete?
Well, this is a really cool thing about like rock bottom, and why we should give gratitude to rock bottom. And if you listen to any success story of like The Rock or Steve Harvey or Jim Cramer, people who slept in their cars, like those just like rock bottom moments, they're always kind of the best, because when you go rock bottom, it takes you so deep. Like, let's say there was like a tree, right? And you hit rock bottom, it takes you so deep that you actually see the roots. And the roots are where the problem is, whether the tree is bearing fruit or not bearing fruit. It's in the roots, it's in the soil. So when I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, I hit rock bottom and I went to my roots, and my roots took me right back to a crossroads in my life. I was 8 years old. I buried my dream. Simple. I wanted to be an athlete when I was a kid. First stock I bought was Nike. And I saw all these things that I haven't seen since I was a kid. And so I went down the path in my mind of, okay, if I started over and rebirthed and went down that path, will my dream save my life? Will my dream be the thing that helps me with my health, being 300 pounds and with a brain tumor? What if I die? Well, at least I got to chase my dream instead of not chasing it. Or what if I live? Well, my dream might have been the thing that saved me. So I was like, all right, all roads lead to my dream. So I said to myself, I want to be an athlete. And when I would close my eyes and I would write in my notebook, when I close my eyes, I see things. And if you don't see anything, sit there until you do.
Mm.
Because it will appear. It's there. It's always there. These things aren't things you make up. Your dreams and what's meant for you is not something you think of. I'm sorry. It's not something you figure out. It's not a mathematical equation. It's just something that's in you. And I sat there and I saw a Nike commercial, and I saw a Nike commercial with LeBron James and Serena Williams. And I would write down, and me. I was like, me, LeBron James, and Serena. And I would write it down in my notebook every day. And I was delusional enough to believe what I saw. So when you're delusional enough to believe, you actually show up and try. So I wanted to make a fan-made Nike commercial. And when I would tell my friends, I'm going to be in a Nike commercial, they're going to see my fan-made Nike commercial, and then they're going to want to sign me. And they said, Charlie, you're crazy. I said, exactly. Well, what's another word for crazy? Delusional. But what is the like definition of delusional? Like people who see things that other people don't. But isn't that like a vision? So it's like I see things that other people don't see. I just have
So good, bro.
Keep going. Sorry, bro. Like, I've never heard you say it like that, or if you've said it like that, I haven't caught it. But that's so good. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro. I'm just over here like at church, like, amen. Say it again, Charlie. Let's go.
I showed up. I wanted to make a fan-made Nike commercial. and I wanted to find a filmmaker who could. And when something is meant for you, the universe will conspire for you
Mm.
every time. Or if you believe in God, God will send the blessing. And sometimes God will send the blessing right through your front door. And that's what happened to me. So I was going around Hollywood trying to find a filmmaker who could shoot, edit, score, owned equipment. I wanted to make a fan-made Nike commercial that was not $60,000. I wanted to spend a couple grand. And everybody said, Charlie, you're not going to find one person who can do those 6 or 7 jobs. Filmmakers just don't make music. Like, if you want to make a Nike grade commercial, you're going to have to spend some money. I said, no, I'm going to find the person. And I wrote in my notebook, I said, today is the day. I searched and found my videographer slash editor. It's done. It's easy. Sitting in my couch in Santa Monica. In walks through the front door my roommate. Behind him is a guy with a big camera rig. He was a very gothic looking guy. Didn't have a whole bunch of hope that this would be my guy, but a guy just walked in my front door. And I said to him, I said, do you do film? And he said, yeah, I do film, but nobody ever pays me. And it was just like this like negative energy. And I'm like, oh God, this isn't my guy. But I said, can I see some of your work? He said, yeah, but I haven't updated my website in like 5 years. And I'm like, oh God. So I pull up his website. He had this short film. And I said, did you shoot this? He said, yeah, I shot it. I said, do you own your own equipment? He said, yeah, I'm kind of like a hoarder. I just like keep buying stuff. And I got steady cams, I got lighting, I got dollies, I got lenses, I'm like, wow, that's impressive. I said, who edited this short film? Because a lot of times the shooter doesn't edit. He said, well, I edited it. I said, this is really good. I said, who made the music on it? And he said, well, I used to be in a rock band. We were on the Warped Tour, and our record label, they dropped us after a year because our album didn't sell. I said, hold on, so you made the music? And I said, who did the scoring, like the sound effects? He said, well, I did all of that. I said, who did the audio mixing and mastering? He said, well, I have a studio in my bedroom. And I said, who did the color grading? And he said, well, I taught myself Da Vinci. He walked in my front door. It was just sent to me. I believed it was going to happen. I believed today was the day, and then today was the day. And I told him, I said, we're going to make a fan-made Nike commercial. Nike's going to see it, and Nike's going to want to sign me. He said, you're crazy. I said, I know, but let's do it. And we made a commercial for 650 bucks. And Nike saw it. Nike signed me, and I got to help Nike make the biggest Nike commercial of all time, the Colin Kaepernick commercial in 2018, and we won an Emmy for it. And my dream of being an athlete came true, and I had proof that if I close my eyes and I see something, if I'm just crazy enough to show up, it's going to happen. It wasn't me who did it fully. It was like I had help, and the help is if there's something that's meant for you, you're not gonna have to do it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I just gotta start moving, and then all the help will come, and that's what happened.
Dude, everybody listening to this just wants to go run through a brick wall right now, man, because it's inspiring, bro. And I want to drill home on one thing you said that I haven't really thought of it in this light, but you said your dreams, those aren't things that you just created. They're in you. They're within you. And immediately my mind went to gold. It was like, man, gold is, one of the precious metals on the earth, and diamonds, right? It's here. It's already there. It's already on the earth. You got to search for them to find them, uncover them. That's what you got to do. And it's the same thing. And it's like my mind went there immediately with your dreams, and they're in you. When you talk about the universe will transpire and God, or God, whatever you believe in. And I believe in God. I'm a very spiritual person. And I believe that there is greatness inside each and every one of us that's already there that we just haven't discovered. And so how do you discover it? He just gave you the framework. Search for it. And if you close your eyes and you can't see it, keep your eyes fucking closed and search more. And you're going to see it. And then actually have the delusional optimism to go do it, right? To go do it. What a story, bro. What a story, man. So awesome. So awesome. And then,
In
yeah.
the in the story, there's absolutely no asterisk. I had no relationships with Nike. My roommate wasn't in the entertainment industry. He was an accountant for a goji berry company that sold goji berries to Whole Foods. It was pure magic. And when I watched the movie Moana and I saw the little girl fall off and then the water put her back on the boat every time, she couldn't fail. It was impossible
Mm.
to fail because her dream that was in her was to leave the island and go save the world. And if she actually goes on that journey, there's no way she'll fail. It's almost 1000% guaranteed she's going to succeed. Um,
Yeah.
and that's how I felt with me as well, because I actually watched Moana and it inspired me and helped me to leave the music industry. And there was a little short film that played before Moana. It was a little Pixar, like 3-4 minute film, and you could buy it on YouTube. It's called Inner Workings. And it was almost the same exact story of this man who went to work every day and he's pushing the buttons at work. And then one day his heart was just called to break the rules and like go, you know, surf in the middle of the day or like go like talk to the girl that he would have been too afraid to. And then he left. And it's like I saw the short film and then I saw Moana. It was almost the same exact story, two different frames. And I was like, hey, let me do it. Let me go chase the dream.
Mm.
I love it, dude. I got to go look up. I love Moana. I actually just watched that the other day with my little kiddos. You know, living in Maui, um, I love that. I just love that movie, and I love your takeaway from it. It's like you're right, man. It's like you can't fail unless you decide to stop. If you decide to stop, well, man, nobody can help you if you don't help you. Even the universe, man. Like even God can't help you if you don't want it. If you're done, you're done. You know. But you keep going. You cannot fail. And what's so cool with your journey is then it turns into all these bigger things, right? Like you're so big on dreams, and now you have the Dream Machine Foundation. You've said that did you say 1,500 dreams that you've made come true, right? When did you start the Dream Machine Foundation?
I started when I began biking across America in 2018. And
That subtle low key flex. Yeah, well, decided I was gonna bike across America. Just like that's not even in your highlight reel. It's just like it's just a typical Tuesday. Get a bike.
well, the thing is, like I was in my like journey of chasing my dream, and I had just did an Ironman a month before, and the Ironman was just me. Like it's kind of a selfish thing, and I wanted to do something more impactful than only me. And I asked myself, like, okay, what does that look like? Like, I want to be an athlete, but I want to make impact. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna bike across America, and I'm gonna help people wherever I go. And my business partner, he was like, Charlie, okay, like let's get an RV and like we'll get it wrapped. He was like, what picture do you want of you on like the side of the bus? And I was like, I don't want to be on the bus. Like I don't want like my face on a bus. I was like, what if we made the bus like a concept? Like, and maybe everybody writes their dreams on the bus, right? And it's just got
Mm.
thousands of dreams on it. And then he said, well, let's call it the Dream Machine. I was like, that's it. And we were like, we'll have the Dream Machine where we'll sleep. We'll be biking across America. We'll call it the Dream Machine Tour. And we just started helping people. There was one of the first people we found was this teacher in Phoenix that had breast cancer, and she was about to foreclose on her home, and she couldn't pay her medical bills, and um, she hadn't been able to see her family because her car didn't work, and her family lived in California instead of Arizona. And so this is when I learned that I don't have to have all the answers. All I have to do is try. And it's a kind of a different type of philanthropy. You would think of philanthropy as give somebody money. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't have a whole bunch of money, then you can't be a philanthropist.
Mm.
But then what I did was I just started making phone calls. And I called some rich people, and then this one guy, he answered the phone. His name was Ayman Hariri, and he has a tech company, and he's a Lebanese billionaire. And I said, let's help her. And he said, what would it take to solve the problem? And I said, a couple grand, like if we do anything, it'll help. And he said, no, Charlie, what will it take to solve the problem? And I wasn't thinking big enough. I was still thinking limited, even for her dream. And he said, Charlie, find out what the medical bills are. We'll pay them off. It's like 60 grand. He said, find out what it'll take to pay off the house. We'll pay it off, the whole thing. And we'll buy our car as well. And it was like 250 grand. I didn't do that. I just tried. If I didn't
Mm.
think trying was the answer, then it would have never happened. But all I wanted to do was try, and anybody can try, whether you get to 250 grand or $250, like, or just drive somebody to church. They might not have a car, just take them to church. Like, that could be enough. But trying is a form of philanthropy as well, and it really levels the playing field and allows everybody to be a philanthropist, and it feels good. And that's just the example that I wanted to leave, because I have money from my music days, and I make money as a keynote speaker, but I'm not rich. Like, I don't have enough money to be able to like go give somebody $250,000. So, but what I do have is $250,000 worth of energy to
Mm.
exchange. And that's what I did. I did
God.
way across the country and built the Dream Machine Foundation after that. And, it's had its ups and downs. And every day we show up and we continue to help people every day.
Man. There's so many times as you were going through that riff that I was like, wait, repeat. I'm pumped to go back and re-listen to this one. And that last part that you said, I might not have 250,000 that I can go give somebody, but I have 250,000 worth of try.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, man, that's what it takes. That's what it takes. Like, you also said along there, and I won't say it properly, but you said something along the lines of trying is a form of philanthropy or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you work with what you have, and when you do that, because how many people do you know that have been like, man, once I get here, then I'll give back, right? I believe that when you give, I believe that true abundance is giving when it's a challenge. Giving when it's a true sacrifice. Giving when you don't have much to give, dude. Whether that's trying, whether that's taking someone to church, whether that, those kind of things, man, it's like working there. And when you do that and you see it come back, because you will, fact, you realize there's always more to give. And it's a way of life. And I love that, man, because I'll tell you personally, I get stuck in that. I get stuck in, not the, like I'm a very generous person, but I get stuck in my own head of trying something new or learning something new that I don't know. And this is going to, I think this will probably surprise some people, but I get stuck on it because I have a big vision, and so I need to bring this big vision back down to the now. And then it's like, but the now right now, I'm not at this big vision point, and sometimes that's intimidating. But in reality, if I just take one step and one step and one step, it starts to come to fruition. The momentum starts to build. And it's the same with anything in our life, man. Whether you're building the dream machine, whether you're trying to bike across the country, whether you're trying to make a Nike commercial, it all starts with starting, right? And that starts with believing. Actually just having this, once again, delusional optimism that you can do those things, man. That you can do those things. So I want to be respectful of your time, man. I want you to know that, so I don't forget to say this, I wanted to have you on this podcast, man, because I know how much of an impact you had at Peak Partnership last year, which was massive. Like we do a survey that comes back, and the survey results for your keynote were massive. And it was so impactful to be a part of there. So anybody out there who runs events and is looking for a keynote, I'm telling you right now, Charlie Rocket delivers. Like, you deliver. Man, it was awesome. Like, it was incredible. So I knew that I wanted to have you on because I know the impact that you have and the impact that you'll make anytime anybody gets to hear your story. But, man, I'm also grateful for the chance that I had to chat with you today, man, because it's impossible to chat with you without feeling uplifted, inspired, and encouraged to do more. It is, though, and I need people like that as much as possible, and I'm grateful anytime I have that opportunity, man. So I'm going to ask a wrap-up question, but I want you to know that I'm grateful for you, man, and who you are as a person and how you choose to live your life. You're a stud. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah. My last question, man, is you've done so much. You're doing so much. What's next? Like, what is that next big outcome that you're looking to own, pursue, achieve? What's that next dream, bro?
Well, I'm going to build the biggest, most impact-driven beverage company in the world. And the reason why I really like beverage is because you'll be able to walk into every single store in America, or gas station, Target, anywhere, and you'll be able to like be a part of changing lives. And I really think that I can be the best in the world at consumer product good companies that change lives. And to rewind a little bit and to show how like everything is a gift. So like running a foundation, really hard. And that hardship becomes such a gift because I'm like, okay, I want to find a way to fund the foundation without having to hire a bunch of people, because hiring people, foundations get too top heavy, too much executive pay, and we have no executive pay. So it's like, okay, like what's the answer? So creating for-profit companies that then make impact. So you're telling me all the hardships I have created this possibility of something I'm really, really, really great at and really, really like meant to do. So it's like, okay, let's help a little girl start a cookie business and like get it in every store. And that cookie business now changes lives, for all the little girls with cancer. Or like, let's help a little blind kid build a sunglasses business. And that sunglass business is going to help all the little kids who are blind. And it's going to also help that kid make generational wealth forever. So it's like win, win, win. People get to be helped. That kid gets to be helped. The foundation gets to be helped. And all these thousands or millions of people get to be a part of helping and get to experience the joy of giving. And so I'm grateful that I've had challenges with my foundation because it's led me down this path. So that's what I'm doing, increasing the impact, creating the biggest brands in the world that people can walk into stores and know lives are changing every time they buy it.
Woo! I want everyone to pause for a minute and understand how he just answered the question. There was no vagaries in anything of your answer, and you started out your answer with saying, I will, not I hope or I think or I will create. That's how you started. And then you went into, well, man, showing us the movie, the vision behind it. You'll be able to walk into any store anywhere and you'll be able to contribute just by buying. Like, listen, and I love how you tied in all the other stuff too, man. Like that, if you want a recipe for how to create massive change and success and impact in your life, it's being able to speak to it and see it the way that Charlie does. So my actionable to every single person, including myself, is first off, the question is, can you answer it the way that Charlie just answered? If I were to ask you that same question, what's that next outcome you're pursuing? What would your answer be? And would it be as vivid as Charlie's? I'll tell you personally, no, mine is not, but it will be. That's fact. Because, bro, that's how you do it. How you create those big, massive leaps, those big, massive changes, you will see it first, man. So give yourself that time to see it. My challenge to everybody is to take the time to see it and get as vivid as Charlie just got with you. Charlie, thank you so much, bro, for being on here, for once again, just being the person that you are. Appreciate you a ton, man. And can't wait to see you again. Once again, seriously, I know you're busy. I know you got a lot going on. So thank you for taking the time again to be on the podcast, man. Appreciate you. So,
Best conversations I've ever had.
I loved it. Sincerely. Awesome. Everybody else, man, go live always with aloha. Peace.